So this video is going to explore coordinate geometry with a focus on the circle, and we're learning to find the equation of a circle and its radius. So here we have a circle. This is the circumference, the red part, the centre and the radius. Now most of you know this, but there's just a quick recap because you're going to hear these words and see these words throughout this chapter. So on this bigger circle then we have the circumference. We know that the radius is from the centre, which happens to also be the origin, out to the point P. Now P is just x, y. You will be given a number there in a question. If we were to find r, you'll actually be using your skill of the distance formula to find the length of that radius, because it's the distance between 2 points. So we will be using the distance formula in this chapter, even though it's not coordinate geometry of the line, it's coordinate geometry of the circle. But r is a line joining the centre of the circle to a point anywhere along this circumference. It happens to be here, but it could be anywhere. So to find the length of the radius, you would use the distance formula. You would take the point P and you would take 0, 0. You would label them x1, y1, x2, y2 and sub it into the formula. Now another point to note is that the diameter, so the radius is from the centre to any point on the circumference. The diameter then is basically twice the radius, but it has to pass through the centre. So the diameter of the circle would be essentially extending the radius. So you could say that diameter is 2 times the radius. So if your radius happened to be 2, your diameter is 4. If your radius happened to be 5, your diameter is 10. Another point to note, if you didn't have the centre 0, 0 and you just had a point P and let's say point Q and you needed to find the radius, well, you would fill in the distance from P to Q because it would be the diameter, and then you would get half of it and that's your radius. So it's not always as straightforward as subbing into the formula. Sometimes you have to play around depending on the question. We can actually use the distance formula with the information we've been given to find the equation of a circle formula. So let's do that now. So we're looking to find the distance between R and we're using the points P, which is x and y, and we're using the point O, which is 0, 0. Okay, well let's label our points and sub them into the formula. So labeling this x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, we'll just sub it into the distance formula. So write out the distance formula and fill in for x1, y1, x2, y2. So this is our distance formula straight from the formula and log tables, and then I've just basically substituted in because my y2 is 0, my x1 is my x. Now what we're saying is that the answer to this will give you r, so we put it equal to r. And now what we do is we basically simplify it down further. So you'll be left with, underneath your square root, you will have x squared, because minus x times minus x is just x squared, and you'll have y squared equal to r. Now if I want to get rid of that square root, okay, I need to square both sides. So I'm squaring this side and I'm squaring this side. So that leaves me with x squared plus y squared equals to r squared. And that is the equation of a circle that we are looking for. And we just derive it from the distance formula. And we use that when the centre is 0, 0 and there's another point x, y on the circumference, just like it's shown here, and we can find r. And I'm going to go through some examples of that now. Okay, so let's have a look at this example here. So find the equation of a circle that is centre 0, 0 and a radius of 4. Now, the thing to make a note of here is, first of all, this is in your log tables, so you don't have to learn it off, but you do need to learn when you will use it. And you can only find the equation of this circle using this formula when you have a center 0, 0. The radius can be any number at all, but you have to have a center 0, 0. Okay, so like before, I told you to write out the formula even if it is in the log tables. You will pick up marks because you will be showing your examiner that you know to use this formula. So you write it out, so x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And then basically what you do is you substitute in your value for r. So we're told r is 4. So what we do is we say, well, x squared plus y squared equals 4 squared, which we know is x squared plus y squared equal to 16. So then effectively your equation of your line is this here, x squared plus y squared equals 16. And that's all you have to do for that. Now let's see how you get on with this one. So pause the video and see, can you do just what I did in the last example, and I'll go through it now. Okay, so we're told to find the equation of a circle with the centre 0, 0 and radius of 6. Well, we know that we use the equation of a circle formula when the centre is 0, 0 is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And then we do basic substitution. We say, well, x squared plus y squared will equal 6 squared because we're told the radius is 6. And again, we simplify it down. X squared plus y squared equals 6 times 6 is 36. So effectively, our equation of the circle with centre 0, 0 is this. Okay, so a slightly different question here now. We have the centre 0, 0 and we have a point on the circle, which is 3 minus 4. We don't know the radius, but because the centre is 0, 0, we know that we will be using this here, because the equation of a circle with centre 0, 0. Now, if you remember back to the very start of the video, I told you about using the distance formula to find the radius. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to substitute the centre 0, 0 and this point into the distance formula in order to find the length of the radius. So let's do that now. Write out the distance formula, label your points and fill it in. Okay, so here we labeled our points, x1, y1, x2, y2, wrote out the formula, filled it in, broke it down, and we got that r equals 5. Now we can go and substitute r equals 5 into this formula here. So you're essentially saying that x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Again, r is 5, so we go x squared plus y squared equals 5 squared. So x squared plus y squared equals 25. And that is the final answer and essentially your equation of the circle. So essentially you are, for step 1, finding the radius using the distance formula, and then step 2, you're finding the equation of a circle by substituting in for r. Okay, so now let's look at a question where, again, the centre is 0, 0. We are missing the radius, but we are told that a point on that circle is 5, 4. So our step 1 is the same. We find the radius using the distance formula. So pause the video now, substitute into your distance formula using the 2 points, and find for me the radius. Okay, so when you fill in your distance formula, you will find that the answer is actually still in third form, or a square root. So can we still use that r equals 41? Well, yes we can, and I'm going to show you how. So you still use this here because your centre is 0, 0. So you write out your equation of the circle. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared. That will always stay the same. Now you're told down here that r equals root 41. So you use that information like you would if it wasn't a square root. So you say that x squared plus y squared equals to a root 41 squared. Now, when you square a root, okay, you actually end up cancelling the squared. So we're left with x squared plus y squared is actually 41. And that becomes your equation of the circle.